Good day, my dear students. For today's video, we're going to tackle about locating percentile under the standard normal curve. But first things first, let's define what percentile is. Percentile daw po is one of the measures of position where the group is divided to 100. A percentile of a specific value means the percentage of values below it. So for example, if you took a test and nakalagay sa result 95 percentile, so ibig sabihin yung percentile rank mo is 95, does it mean po ba na naka 95 ka sa exam? So hindi po, that is percentage. Opo. When we say percentile, kapag naka 95 percentile ka po, ibig sabihin po, lahat ng nag-take sa exam, hinati sa 100, at yung 95 po doon is natalo mo. Meaning to say, you are included in the upper 5% of the population who took the exam. Ibig sabihin po, maganda yung performance mo. Dahil natalo po yung 95% ng mga nag-take nun. So that is how we understand the percentile. And whenever we are dealing with percentile, pwede po natin siyang makompute using our normal curve. Okay, so for example, so again, we're going to use these tables. So first table is for the negative, and the second table is for the positive. However, it is important to note that both of this table is shaded to the left. So for example, number 1, find the 90th percentile of the standard normal curve. So alam po natin na kapag sinabi nating 90th percentile, ibig sabihin po nun, 90% yung natalo mo. And take note, in our table, to the left, ibig sabihin ng to the left is mga mabababa sa'yo. So di ba po sa table natin, maraming numbers yung nasa loob mismo ng box, hindi po yung mga nasa gilid lang. Ngayon po, my dear students, ang goal po natin is hanapin doon mismo sa areas, doon sa mga values sa loob ng box, kung alin po doon sa 0.90. So, looking at our table, actually, walang 0.90. Pero may malapit kay 0.90. And that is 0.8997. So, siya po yung malapit kay 90 or 0.90. However, ang 0.90 po, malapit din nga yan, ma'am, si 0.9015. However, dito sa dalawa, ang pinakamalapit is 0.8997. Bakit po? Ito po, kulang lang siya ng 3. Ito po, sobra ng 15. So, alin ang mas malapit? Si 3 or si 15? Mas malapit po si 3. So, therefore, ang kukunin po natin is si 0.8997. So, ibig sabihin po sa ating standard normal curve, si 0.90 or the 90th percentile is situated or located at z is equal to 1.28. What about ito po? Find the upper 5% of the standard normal curve. So, yung upper 5% natin in percentile, meaning to say that is the 95th percentile. Since itong upper na ito, ibig sabihin yung 5% po is to the right siya. Para magkaroon tayo ng to the left, kukunin po natin yung 95th percentile or that is 0.9500. Opo, so using our tables again, so yung 0.95 is wala siya, di ba po? Wala pong exactly na 0.95. However, meron tayong mga values na malapit sa kanila. And this time po, ang malapit sa kanila is si 9505 and si 9495. Dito po, meron tayong 5 na kulang. Dito naman, may sobra naman tayong another 5. So ma'am, alin po dito since parehas silang 5 at 5 yung kakulangan at kasobrahan. So kapag ganyan po na in between sila, meaning to say, kailangan i-add natin sila, then i-divide. So, di ba po, si z daw po, to the left of 1.64 is actually equal to 0.9495. Si z po, less than 1.65 is equal to 0.9505. So, para makuha natin si 95 lang, ibig sabihin, i-add po natin to and i-divide sa 2. So, si z po natin is equal to 1.64 plus 1.65 all over 2. So, that will give us how many? So, So 1.64 plus 1.65 divided by 2, that is equal to 1.645. And that is our answer. Okay, for our next question, Juan de la Cruz got a score of 90 in an aptitude test. If the population mean is 75 with a standard deviation of 5, what is the percentile rank of Juan de la Cruz? So, meron po tayong available na data. We have the score of 90, and that is X. We have the population mean of 75. So, population mean of 75, and also the standard deviation of 5. Standard deviation of 5. Ngayon po, using our z-score formula, which is equal to x minus the population mean all over the population standard deviation is equal to 90 minus 75 all over 5. So that will give us 15 over 5, which is equal to 3. Ngayon po, my dear students, si 3, siya po si z-score. In order for us to get the percentile rank, or the percentile rank, kasi di ba sabi po natin, the percentile rank, the probability, the area, the region, are all referring to the areas under the normal curve. Meaning to say, using our table again, we need to identify kung ano po yung area kay 3. So, si 3 po is si 99.87. So, meaning to say, yung percentile rank niya po ni Juan de la Cruz is equal to 90 or 0.9987 or 99.87 percentile. So, ito po yung percentile rank niya po. Percentile. So, this is our final answer. Ibig sabihin po, yun pong 0.13. Kabilang po si Juan de la Cruz sa upper 0.13. So, sobrang galing ni Juan de la Cruz. Yun pong 99.87, yun po yung population na natalo ni Juan de la Cruz. So what if we have this example? The average length of hospital for all diagnoses is 4.8 days. If we assume that the lengths of hospital stays are normally distributed with a variance of 2.1, then 10% of the hospital stays are longer than how many days? 30% of stays are less than how many days? So this is adapted from the book of Alan G. Bluman, year 2018, from Elementary Statistics, Step-by-Step Approach, 10th edition from New York, page 339. So actually, the original source of this question is from www.cdc.gov. However, I've extracted this question directly from the book of Alan G. Bluman. Now, adapting this problem, so we are asked to find kung yun daw pong 10% of the hospital stays, paano kahabang tumatagal. So, yun po yung question natin. So, first things first, let's identify the given. So, we have here the average length is 4.8 days. So meaning to say that is the population mean. Since the mean po is also known as the average, so that is population mean is equal to 4.8 days. And we also have the variance daw po of 2.1. And variance po diba is the standard deviation squared. So that is 2.1 days. However, we're only interested with the standard deviation kasi po diba doon sa formula natin, wala naman po tayong variance pero may standard deviation tayo. So we simply take the square root of that in order for us to have the standard deviation. So the standard deviation is the square root of 2.1. So available din po si 10%. So sabi dito, then 10% of hospital stays are longer. So pag sinabi po nating longer, ano po siya? Upper 10% or lower 10%? So since longer siya, this is upper 10%. So upper 10% is also known as the 90th percentile. Alam po natin kapag 90th percentile in decimal, that is 0.90. So using our table, hahanapin po natin kung saang part po si 0.90 dyan. So wala po tayong exact na area for 0.90. However, meron tayong pinakamalapit. At sabi nga natin, ang pinakamalapit na po is si 0.8997 because ang kakulangan niya lang po is 3 3 points. Ito po, 15 yung kasobrahan. So, doon tayo sa pinakamalapit na 3. So, that is 1 point. Si Z natin is equal to 1.28. So, di ba po, our formula is equal to Z is equal to X minus the population mean all over the standard deviation. So, that will give us the Z of 1.28 is equal to X minus the population standard deviation, which is actually equal to 4.8 divided by the square root of 2.1. However, di ba sabi natin, ang goal natin is to find the value of X since we are dealing with how many days. Kaya ibig sabihin, para ma-eliminate natin or ma-isolate natin si X, kailangan po i-eliminate muna natin si denominator. So we can eliminate the denominator by multiplying both sides of the equation with a square root of 2.1. So 2.1. So makakancel na siya. So we have the square root of 2.1 times 1.28 is equal to X minus 4.8. Ngayon po, since ang sabi natin si X lang naman kailangan natin, ilipat natin sa kabila. So we have the square root of 2.1 times 1.28 plus 4.8 is equal to X. So using our calculators, diretso na lang po natin calcu. So we have the square root of 2.1 times 1.28 plus 4.8. So our X now, or the random variable, is 6.7 approximately. Pero for uniformity, I highly encourage na let's use 2 decimal places. So we have X po is equal to 6.65 days. So how do we interpret this? Ibig sabihin po, 10% of the hospital stays are longer than 6.65 days. For our second question, sabi dito, 30% stays are less than how many days? So how many days ulit? We are finding for the value of X. So since nakalagay dito 30% or less than, so ano siya, upper or lower? So di ba po, kapag less than, lower. Kaya alam natin na ibig sabihin since lower siya at alam natin ang definition ng percentile is the number below the specific value, ibig sabihin ang hinahanap natin is the 30th percentile. So 30th percentile, gagamit po ulit tayo ng ating table. At this time, ang kailangan nating hanapin is exactly 30 or that is exactly 0.30 or dapat yung pinakamalapit kay 0.30. So yung pinakamalapit po kay 0.30 is 0.3015. Kasi po ito, 15% lang yung sumobra sa kanya. Ito, kumulang ng 19. Kaya mas malaki si 19 kaysa kay 15. Doon tayo lagi sa pinakamaliit. So meaning to say, ang kukunin po natin is si negative 0.52. So RZ is equal to negative 0.52. Again, our formula is Z is equal to X minus the population mean all over the population standard deviation. Z po is negative 0.52 is equal to X. Our X po is the unknown. And si population mean po natin is 4.8 all over kay standard deviation of how many? The square root of 2.1. So multiply both sides by the square root of 2.1. So that will give us, makakancel po itong dalawa. So we have the square root of 2.1 times negative 0.52 is equal to X minus 4.8. So since po negative siya, ilagay natin sa kabila, magiging positive. The square root of 2.1 times negative 0.52 plus 4.8 is equal to X. So that is the square root of 2.1 times the quantity negative 0.52 plus 4.8. So that will give us 4.05 approximately. So our answer now So our x po is equal to 4.05 days. So how do we interpret? Yung interpretation niya po is that 30% of stays are less than 4.05 days. Okay, for our last question, sabi po dito, to qualify for a medical study, an applicant must have a systolic blood pressure in 50% of the middle range. If the systolic blood pressure is normally distributed with a mean of 120 and a standard deviation of 4, find the upper and the lower limits of the blood pressure a person must have to qualify for the study. So in our normal curve, meaning to say this is our normal curve, and let's assume that it is perfect. So we have here 0. So this is 1, 2, 3, -1, -2, -3. Ngayon po, sabi sa atin, ang kailangan daw po nating mahalaman, kung ito daw po is si 120, that is the mean, and the standard deviation is 4, find the upper and the lower limit of 50%. Yung nasa gitna daw pong 50%. So, assuming po na, for example, this is the 50%. Okay, for example, this is the 50%. Let's just assume, ha? So, ano daw po yung percentage, or the percentage is already given. Middle 50%. Ano daw po yung lower limit? So, dito po sa negative yung lower limit, and yung upper limit is dito po. So, ang una po natin gagawin is to strategize on how to solve for the problem. So, we know po, di ba, nasabi natin, 50% yung nasa gitna. However, alam natin na ang 50%, kung hahanapin natin sa table, that is to the left. Ito po, this is middle. So, ibig sabihin po, mag-strategize tayo ng paraan para makabuo tayo ng middle 50%. So, first, alam natin na ang kabuuan ito is 50. Kaya pag hinati natin siya, this is 25%. Ito po another 25%. Pero alam din natin na magmula dito hanggang doon, this is 50%, right? So, kapag inad natin ito at ito, so anong kabuuan? That is 75%. Kaya yun po yung strategy natin. First strategy is to find for the z with an area of 75% or 0.75. Bakit po, my dear students? Kasi po, magmula dito hanggang dito, pwede nating mahanap yon. Then, magma-minus na lang tayo ng 50, di ba po? So, sige po, hanapin natin yun. In our table, using our table, so yung 0.75, ang pinakamalapit po is si 0.7486. Bakit po ito 14? Ito po, sumobra ng 17 o dun po tayo sa pinakamalapit, which is 14. So 0.7486 yung kukunin natin, and the z value for that is 0.67. Kaya siya po yung magiging z natin. The z po is equal to 0.67. Meaning to say, ito po, 0.67 siya. Ngayon po, kung alam natin na this is 0.67, ano po yung magiging value nitong part na ito, considering na ito at ito, same lang naman yung distance nila. At di ba sabi natin, they are symmetric on the mean, meaning to say, pag pinag-fold natin sila, mirror lang. So, ibig sabihin, kung ito positive 0.67, dapat ito magiging negative yung isa. Negative 0.67. Now, let's solve for the first lower limit. So, first, let's find for the upper limit. So, that is 0.67 is equal to the x value. The x value po natin is the unknown. Siya po yung hinahanap natin, the upper limit. So, lagyan natin x sub 1 minus the population mean of 120 all over the population standard deviation of 4. So, multiply both side natin siya by 4 by 4. So that is 4 times 0.67 is equal to x minus 120. So since si 120 po nasa negative pag inilipat sa kabila, 4 times 0.67 plus 120 is equal to x. So sige po. Using our calculators, 4 times 0.67 is equal to 2.68 plus 120, that is equal to 1.22.68. So that is our first upper limit. So ibig sabihin po si x natin, x sub 1, this is x sub 1 is equal to 122.68. Okay, dun po tayo sa lower limit. So again, we have negative 0.67 is equal to x minus the population mean of 120 all over the population standard deviation of 4. Multiply both sides by 4 to eliminate the denominator. So makakancel siya. 4 times negative 0.67 is equal to x minus 120. So lipat natin sa kabila si negative 120 para po matira si x na lang since it is the value that we are interested in. So we have 4 times negative 0.67 plus 120 is equal to x. Using our calculators, so that is 4 times negative quantity negative 0.67 is equal to plus 120. So that is equal to 117.32. So that is our lower limit. So x po natin is equal to 117.32. That's it for today, my dear students. If you still have questions, please don't hesitate to comment down below. If you find this video helpful, please like and subscribe to my channel. So I'll see you next time. Goodbye!